Hello, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This is Mrs. Bear from the Old Bear's Den of Bigfoot saying happy Saturday evening. What do you say, mister?
I say it's been a rough day for me. It has.
And why is that, babe?
Not feeling good. Old age is catching me. Anyway, the reason we're here is to talk about what?
An encounter in Massachusetts.
Yeah, well, this ain't a good one. Evidently, and I've contacted a few people in that area, and they've given their take on it, and they have told us about the area that this happened in. And evidently, there is a state marsh or swamp up there, wasn't it? Was it a marsh or a swamp? You remember? It was a swamp,
I'm
wasn't
not
it?
sure. Swampy area or something.
Yeah. Well, evidently, a deputy sheriff who's going to remain nameless, because if it gets out, it'll ruin his career, his buddy's career, and yeah. Anyway, he was out on patrol, and something big, black, and hairy ran across the road in front of him. Well, he decided he was going to chase this thing down in the car. He called one of the other deputies on the phone while he was chasing this creature down along these old back roads, trying to cut it off so they could see, get a better look at it, I guess. Well, he ended up, evidently the roads kind of crisscross each other over there in that area, and he was going down the road, and this hairy thing ran across the road in front of him, and he went up and cut, and it ran across a different road. He saw it again, and his buddy that he called heard him, said he was in pursuit of something. So he starts showing up, and he calls the guy on the phone, and they're talking on the phone while he's trying to find this thing, and they're kind of interested in Bigfoot. Two deputy sheriffs. Well, when the other one gets in the area, a Bigfoot runs across the road in front of him. They're thinking it's the same one. It's just running circles around them. It's not. It's two different Bigfoot. And there's a state trooper that hears all this commotion on the radio, and he comes in the area, and he evidently runs a third one in the same direction. These two, they're running kind of like on parallel roads, and they're crossing old gravel country roads, and the state trooper comes in behind them, and he comes up a different road, and he cuts left to go see what they're doing, and he chases one across the road, and this happens for about 15 miles. These things are running across the road on all fours. They're not standing up running. They're running on all fours. Their fastest way to run. Well, they run these three Bigfoot into a forested area. And, well, they lose them. So the two deputies are in that area, and they've stopped. They run into each other, and they stop, and they're talking. And the state trooper comes up and goes, "What the hell are y'all guys doing?" And that was his language. "What the hell are you doing?" And they kind of hint that what they were doing, they were chasing these hairy things. And he said, "Yeah, I chased one too." And they're all thinking it's one Bigfoot that's just running the big circles around, in that area. And it's not. It's 3 different Bigfoot. Now, they've got them riled up at this point. They've been chased for probably a couple of hours, or maybe 3 hours. And it's 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning by this point. Well, they're all sitting there talking about what went on, and unbeknownst to them, these 3 creatures come together and end up behind a gentleman's house that he had recently moved there, and he'd been having trouble with something coming into his backyard, usually between 2 and 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, he's not allowed to have a gun, and that's the bad part. And him and his wife lives there. This house, it's not a big house. It's just in an area. I wouldn't do that. There's too many of those out here.
Yeah.
So he goes outside because he has to get up early and go to work, because he heard a commotion outside of his house, in the back of his house. And he walks outside, runs smack dab right into the middle of these 3 big hairy creatures, is what the wife said. And she heard him scream. And she called the law. She didn't dare go outside. She didn't want to go outside because she didn't know what her husband was screaming about. Couldn't understand what he was screaming. Well, those 2 deputies are the ones that are dispatched to this house. They get there and they go in the backyard. They approach the house and talk to the woman, and she said, "My husband went outside and all of a sudden he screamed and he hasn't come back in, and I know there's something wrong, bad wrong." And these 2 deputies go out behind the house, and they find what's left of the guy. They found an arm that was ripped off from him. So, it was just ripped out of his shoulder. He's not a real big guy, and that's the bad thing. I don't want to go too much into detail because it is kind of gory. This is YouTube, and I don't want to get it banned. But they find an arm, and they find that his body was separated from his arm, and the backyard is kind of covered in blood. And they find him, and
Just wasn't good, was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't good at all. They found him, and they called the coroner, and the man died from blood loss and having a heart attack. And they said that he was scared. The reason that he had a heart attack was because all the scare and losing his arm was, they never said that why he lost his arm, but they blamed it on a bear attack. And these 2 deputies know what they did. And if you two guys ever come across this video, you should, in my personal opinion, you should be spending the rest of your lives in prison for getting this guy killed. Just because you're interested in Bigfoot and you can spend the taxpayer dollars chasing these things in a car, wasn't the smartest thing to do, gentlemen. And so somebody got ripped apart and because of your stupidity. And that's the worst thing you could do, is be that stupid and ignorant to think that just because you want to see a Bigfoot, you get someone killed. Personally, I think you're pretty low, you're trash. And if I'm ever in Massachusetts and I run into you, I know who you are. And you definitely get an earful from me. So if you ever want to chase another Bigfoot, or anybody out there in YouTube world wants to chase a Bigfoot in a vehicle, don't do it. These things get highly pissed, they get upset, and they'll take it out on someone or something. And somewhat kind of brings to mind an issue that happened in Ohio recently near Salt Fork. A friend of mine contacted me about it, very good friend of ours, and he contacted me because he got rocks thrown at him, got trees thrown at him, tree limbs thrown at him, not little sticks, not little rocks, because somebody went up and went call blasting, didn't know how to make calls, didn't know what they were saying, and upset a group of Bigfoot in Ohio, and somebody's bull got killed. So I want to warn everybody, don't do stupid things. You get stupid prizes for stupid things. So just be mindful when you're out there. If you go Bigfooting, you go out and you can hear them. Don't call blast them. Don't chase them in cars. It upsets them. It gets them riled up. And, well, babe.
Yes, love.
It's not too smart, is it?
No.
So I hope y'all enjoy this encounter. This account of stupidity in action is what I'm going to call it. And just say a few prayers for that, for the wife. And
Yes.
we hope that 2 deputies in Massachusetts learned their lesson. So, friends, we love you guys. Y'all have a blessed day. And it's the Old Bear and Mrs. Old Bear saying bye.
Bye-bye. Love you guys.